From haunted houses to cursed artifacts, from whispers in the dark to battles you'll never read in scripture. This is the Unholy podcast, hosted by Doug Owen, author, investigator, and survivor of one of the most harrowing real-life hauntings ever documented. Each week, Doug pulls back the veil between this world and the next, sharing stories that aren't fiction, because he lived them. Prepare yourself. The silence is over.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Unholy podcast. As always, I am your host, author, and paranormal investigator, Doug Owen. Today, we're going to dive into the essential tools that are part of every paranormal investigator's kit. And every paranormal investigator should know about these tools. If you're in the business of being a paranormal investigator, or it's a hobby, or you're like ghost facers, whatever it is, you need to be familiar with these tools. They're invaluable. The tools are what we use to document these occurrences, these specters, these supernatural events. They're so very important. These tools have been indispensable, especially in my own investigations, and especially in my own home, where things can get quite active. So, I want to go ahead and dive into these things with you here, and share some of my own personal experiences with these tools. So, the first one, of course, that everybody knows about, Supernatural, the TV show made it quite famous, is the EMF meter. Let's start with that. That's one of the most fundamental tools. Right, an electromagnetic field, EMF. I always keep one on hand. It helps detect the fluctuations in the electromagnetic fields, which some people believe are linked to paranormal activity. It could just be a microwave that's gone on the fritz, or a TV that's emitting some radiation. But whatever the belief is, it's the first thing I pull out whenever I sense something unusual. I have a haunted candelabra that I pull it out all the time because this candle launches into the air. Scares my dog. He's like Scooby-Doo. He runs to me, bangs into the door. But it's an invaluable tool, and they're fairly inexpensive. You can pick one up for less than $20 on Amazon. But there's also kits available too, paranormal kits of the tools that they have out there. So let's go with the second thing, which is a digital voice recorder. It's another crucial tool, a digital voice recorder. It's pretty cool. I used to use a old micro cassette recorder, that had the voice-activated features back in the day. Very much like Agent Dale Cooper, Special Agent Dale Cooper from Twin Peaks would do that. He would document everything. It's an invaluable tool to document the experience as it happens. If you want to go back and write down notes, or if you just want to listen to the audio, it's very important. A memorable experience I had with wasn't digital, but it was a old microcassette recorder, involved my mentor, Mark DeWire. It involved us capturing a mysterious whisper, more of a hiss. So at 3 a.m. he was continually woken up by noise in his kitchen, cupboard slamming, things of that nature. He was no stranger to the paranormal. In fact, he taught me most of the things I know about the paranormal. So he recorded this entity, this voice. I loaned him my microcassette recorder. And you can hear his clocks in the background. I have an audio recording of it. I'll share eventually. But you can hear the clocks in the background because he was an antique collector, of course, and had many clocks that had the chimes and the clicking. You can hear them. But he asks into the darkness, "Who are you?" And the darkness answered back. No shit. The darkness answered back. It hissed, "I am Uriel, I am." Now, this was on a simple microcassette recorder. It was incredibly clear. It sent chills down my spine. And whether you play it forward or backwards, it shouldn't be a palindrome, but somehow it is. It says the same thing forward or backwards. But that's an invaluable piece, an invaluable tool, so be sure that you're using it. Next thing, infrared thermometers. So, they're pretty cool. Laser thermometers, they're pretty inexpensive. You can pick them up pretty cheaply, but usually there's some kind of a temperature fluctuation when something paranormal is happening, or something extraordinary, something supernatural. At my old home that I wrote about in the Unholy Silence, I had the team of investigators come in, very much like ghost hunters, those teams, but it was Idaho Paranormal Group. And in my office, I had gone in there, and it was dark because they had the special night vision goggles on, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I went in to grab my cigarettes off of the desk, and so I just went in real quick, grabbed them, walked out. The guy was in the corner with his laser mic, and he said, "Hold it." I froze in place. I was like, "What's up?" He said, "Did you put that guitar in the chair?" And the guitar was in the chair, and it was spinning now, my office chair. I froze in place, and I said, "No, I just grabbed my cigarettes. I didn't touch it." He said, "Neither did I." So, he said it was 10 degrees cooler right there where the chair was and where it was spinning. 10 degrees colder than the other areas in the room. So, mysteriously began to spin. It was fascinating and eerie, but another tool that kind of helps detect environmental changes when you're in the middle of a supernatural visit or a supernatural attack or a supernatural ghost hunt. Night vision camera, night vision goggles. They came and had a set of those so they could see in the dark. It's amazing what you can catch on film when the lights are off. They didn't catch anything really visible, but there was definitely audio, and there was definitely the incident where the lights would, flicker, turn off and on. Literally, the light switch would click off and on. And also, you could hear the entities become restless. A quarter fell from the ceiling, landed on the lady's laptop. There was other audio that was warning us to get out or they would kill us. So, that was quite an interesting experience, but night vision camera can catch entities at times. Next is a spirit box. I've never really personally used a spirit box, but I do use a pendulum. Pendulums are another thing to see if they get disrupted. You hang a pendulum from obviously a string or a chain, and if the pendulum moves, then it's quite possible that the energy that's moving it is paranormal in nature. Scientifically, obviously, a body or an object in motion tends to stay in motion unless it's acted upon by another force, or a body at rest tends to stay at rest until it's acted upon by a equal and opposite force, or equal and opposite reaction after you push the force. So, in my home, the paranormal activity is so direct that I don't need to use these tools to detect them. They make their presence known, loud and clear. I don't really have to, set up recorders and whispers, things like that. These guys want to be heard, they'll shout it out, and there's no questioning what they are and what they're doing. So, different tools are very important. Some people use holy water when you go on these journeys. They have the crucifix. Different cameras, digital cameras of every kind. Digital cameras are important for recording certain things and events. They can catch things that the human eye cannot catch sometimes. So it's pretty important to keep up with the tools of the trade. But like I say, every paranormal investigator should have a paranormal kit, to bring out the tools when they need it. And it's good to have on hand, too, for emergencies. So, in my book that's coming out, you can read more about it, and Beyond the Unholy. That's the new book I'm working on now. It'll explain about the tricks, tools of the trade for paranormal investigators. So, I wanted to keep this podcast kind of short, because I am expecting the dark diva Dawn Adams to appear as a guest speaker. So she's going to talk a little bit about her dive into horror. She has experienced dancing with ectoplasmic spirits and hauntings. So we're going to have her come on and talk about that. Probably be a couple of days before I can nail her down and get a good recording. But I did want to mention, to keep your calendars clear, I am going to be the guest of honor at a book signing in Caldwell, Idaho here. And for the first 30 minutes or so, I'm going to be talking about paranormal experiences around Nampa, Idaho, Boise, Idaho, Caldwell, Idaho. Around the Treasure Valley, I'm going to be speaking about some of the encounters that I've had and some of the experiences there. And then I will have a book signing available where you can get your copies signed of The Unholy Silence by me, obviously. So bring your books, or just come ready to purchase your book, and I'd be more than happy to sign it. So, again, this is Doug Owen, and remember to be safe, take care of yourselves, and remember this: sometimes the silence is the most terrifying thing.
Don't miss new episodes of the Unholy podcast with world-renowned author and host Doug Owen. Dare to explore the supernatural world. For episodes and more, visit authorDougOwen.com. That's authorDougOwen.com.